How to solve an equation in quadratic form. Now these are a little bit tricky. We have to use substitution on these. So follow along as I work these problems. This is how I do it. That makes it easy. First I draw my arrows like this. And underneath I want to put a U. Wherever I draw my arrow I want to put a U. Now what I like to see is an equation that's something squared minus, bring down this 8, something squared minus 8 something minus 9 equal to 0. See, this is a standard quadratic equation like we're used to seeing. Just something squared minus 8 something minus 9. See, and that's how we solve. So that's the first step. And notice that we can answer the question, what does U equal? Because it's right here. U equals this here. That's what U equals. And what's the okay, so let's continue on. So I'm at a point now where I can solve this type of problem, because I know that if I use factoring and I put a U there and a U there, because U times U is U squared, I need something times something equals 9. Well, 3 by 3, but that doesn't equal 8. How about a 1 and a 9? 1 times 9 is 9, but I need a negative 8. So if I put negative with the 9 and add a 1, I'll get the negative 8. So I've solved this problem by factoring real quick. And my answer for this one is flip negative 1 and flip positive 9. So I've got my answers here for this particular equation. And I know that I've let U equal x squared. X squared. See, that's what my U equals, because it's pointing to it right here. So since U equals x squared, I have a value for U here, I can use this equation to find the value of x. So let's do that. Let's put down here, so U equals x squared. U equals x squared. See? And let's plug in that 9 for U. So let's, like we did before, let's erase here. Let's plug in that 9 here, and let's erase this U and plug in a negative 1 there. So we've done some substitution. So on this one, let's solve it. Let's take the square root of both sides, and you get x equals plus or minus. Well, square root of a negative 1 is an imaginary number, right? Square root of negative 1 is an imaginary number, and I got plus or minus that imaginary number. That's one answer for x. Actually, it's two of them, plus or minus. Let's go over to this one. Okay, same thing. Let's take the square root of both sides. So x equals plus or minus the square root of 9 is 3. So I've got to write this down in the Pearson products. You want to put negative 3, comma, positive 3, and then our imaginary numbers. Negative imaginary, positive imaginary. And this is how I'd key that in the Pearson product for that one, using substitution. All right, let's do another substitute problem, but this one's a little bit more in depth. So once again, just like on the problem over here, let's draw our arrows. Let's draw our arrows where we want to put a U at. Draw your arrow, put a U, because remember, we want to see something squared, plus or minus something. We want it to look like a normal problem. So we got U, and let's put squared, and then the plus 3, and then a U, and then minus 10 is equal to 0. See, now it looks like a standard equation. U squared plus 3U minus 10 equals 0, and we can factor that. So that's the next step. Next step is to factor. Put my u there. I need something and something equals 10. But when I add or subtract it, I get 3. Well, how about 2 and 5? 2 times 5 makes 10. But if I have a plus 5 and a negative 2, I can get positive 3. And when I multiply them, I get that. So I've got my answer there. And the answer here is flip of this one. So u equals 2 or u equals negative 5. Now remember, these are the u terms. And what did I let u equal? Always circle this center part. Just like we did over here, we circled the center part. Here I circle the center part. Over here, so we let u equal x squared minus 5. So I let u equal x squared minus 5. So let me write that down over here. So I've got my u equals x squared minus 5. U equals x squared minus 5. Okay, I've written it in both places there. And I'm going to substitute now. I'm going to erase u is a 2. Over here, u is negative 5. Okay, so I've substituted my values for u. Now I'm solving for x. So let's move this 5 over to the other side. Let's move that 5 over to the other side. So I have x squared. I got to add 5. Add 5 to this makes 7. Over here, I got to add 5. This makes 0 equals x squared. So I've got, well, here's one answer. It's just 0, right? 0 equals 0. That's one answer. And over here, take the square root of both sides. So you get x equals plus or minus square root 7. And I can't do anything with the square root 7, so I just leave it like that. So my answers are negative square root 7, comma, 0, comma, and then positive square root 7. And this is what I would key in the Pearson product for my answers. Negative square root 7, 0, positive square root 7. To solve that problem there that's a little bit more complicated.